Welcome back to the video blog. My name is Adam Daniel Mezei, pmdforhire.com, adamdanielmezei.com, and will Snapple please sponsor Vincent Ferrari, Insignificant Thoughts. How many times do I have to say it? Insignificantthoughts.com. It's not that hard. Just send the guy some money. Okay, Snapple? Yes? Alright. If you haven't gone there, go check it out. Put the pressure on the Snapple company. Crying out loud. Anyway, poor BHO, poor POTUS, poor guy. I'm talking, of course, about President Obama. One thing after another after another. I can just remember the interview that he gave before he was actually inaugurated. I think it was the 60 Minutes' Keith Bradley, or perhaps it was somebody else. And he was saying something at the time, I remember, with much fanfare and the change posters and all the sloganeering and all the feel-good and the other grab-assing that was going on back in the day. He was saying something about how it's part of the job. Like, the interviewer was basically asking him and saying, Mr. President or Mr. President-elect, what happens if shit starts to hit the... Well, he didn't use that word, but like, what happens if it starts to hit the fan? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to be able to deal with it? You know, there's a lot of people that are criticizing you for not necessarily having the skills without having been in office for that long or anything higher than the Senate. So how are you going to manage? And I think the response that he had at the time, as he was ever so tightly gripping onto Michelle's hand, he said, comes with the job. If you want to be the president, comes with the job. I'm ready. Like something like that. Like again, another slogan, another one of those, I want to take a salt shaker and throw it over my shoulder, another one of those over-the-shoulder shots. Anyway, let's list the litany of things that have gone wrong in the Obama presidency so far. These are the major things. There's all kinds of little things that have been going on. But taking it from the top, the very first interview that he gave as a president was to Al Arabiya newspaper, which one could say was either kowtowing to Muslim public opinion or Islamic sentiment, or some could say, of course on the Republican right, they could say things like he was being a bit of a pussy. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, the health care bill. Mistake number three, handling the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Mistake number four, firing Stanley McChrystal. Mistake number five, snubbing Prime Minister Netanyahu. Mistake number six. And it goes on and on and on and on. But, oh, of course, giving the speech at Fudan University in Shanghai and kissing, of course, COP15 in Copenhagen and being snubbed by Prime Minister Wen of China, of the PRC. So many things. It's time for a 9/11 moment. Barack Obama needs to have a Bush 2 moment. The 44th President of the United States of America needs something that saves his posterior. Because the way he's going, if he doesn't get kicked out of office in 2012 or sooner... Now let me repeat that sentence. The way it's going, if he doesn't get kicked out in 2012... No, I didn't say it right again. Let's try it once more time. Because the way that it's going, if he doesn't get kicked out of office sooner, let alone in 2012, I'll be very surprised. Well, that man who could save President Obama's career, as it were, is none other than Bam Bam Kim Jong-il, the pygmy dictator, the pygmy strongman on heels with the afro of DPR Korea, known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea. That man, that shoddy, can actually come to the rescue of President Obama. How? Let's break this one down for you. China, North Korea, South Korea, United States. 4 parties that are actually involved in this whole peninsular kerfuffle. How does it work? China gives economic and food aid to North Korea. The North Koreans don't like that. They're basically being punked by the Chinese because nobody else would give the North Koreans food and money. The Americans had done it previously, but in 2006, when the North Koreans detonated their last nuclear bomb, the Americans said, no more of that. No more money, no more food, no more nothing to you. So the Chinese have basically been the breadwinners for the North Korean people. South Korea was doing it for most of the time, except somebody sunk the Cheonan warship, the corvette, in March. So the South Koreans stopped doing that. The North Koreans don't like the fact that they're the Chinese's bitches. Now, the United States sponsors the ROK, the Republic of Korea, known as South Korea. In order to put a wedge into what's going on in that region, the United States could offer an olive branch, the Nixon moment. What am I talking about? When President Nixon went to visit Mao Zedong in 1972, without any preconditions. He didn't say to Mao, you've got to offer human rights to your people, you've got to stop the Cultural Revolution, you've got to put an end to all of this Narishkeit that you're doing, this Maoism and all of this sponsorship of third world countries and global exportation of the revolution, communism, Chinese style. Nope. Nixon sent Kissinger to the PRC in 1971 and said, Henry, make a deal. Henry, get me a meeting with Mao. Henry, get me a meeting with that premier, Zhou Enlai. So that's what he did. And in 1972, Nixon went to the PRC without any preconditions. Obama's going to do the same thing. Obama's going to go to Pyongyang and he's going to go to see Bam Bam without any preconditions. Why? Because the North Koreans have no control of the situation. And in September of this year, when Kim Jong-un, the youngest son of Kim Jong-il, is nominated to the throne of North Korea, he's not going to be able to control the military. Whoever is responsible for torpedoing the Cheonan, which is likely the generals in North Korea, the kid's not going to have any control of the grassroots. So Obama needs to make a move. Go in there without any preconditions, except you must denuclearize. You must open up your Yongbyon, your nuclear plant, which is where the uranium is being processed in North Korea. You must open it up to the Atomic Energy Agency, and otherwise, we will give you money, we will give you food. This is going to piss the Chinese off, but it's exactly what the Americans want. And the North Koreans might go for it because they don't want to be the Chinese bitch. You following how this all goes, everybody? Now, the Chinese aren't going to like this because that's going to bring the Americans or the South Koreans right up to their border. The other aspect about this is China doesn't like any kind of military conflict in North Korea because it disrupts its peaceful rise, or its harmonious rise, as it's known in Chinese, or huixia zhucui. So this is the big problem. Barack Obama is going to have his Nixon moment. It's going to happen in 2011 as a salve before the elections. He needs something to save his ass because we know in midterm elections he's going to get spanked. And it's just one thing after the other, and I forgot to mention Michelle's going to Spain with Sasha and the kids, seeing the King of Spain, Juan Carlos. When everybody else is suffering, BHO needs a Nixon moment. Poor POTUS, poor BHO. My name is Adam Daniel Mezei, and Snapple sponsor Insignificant Thoughts. And you can sponsor me too. If you're already spreading the money around, give me some, I'll take it. Wishing you the best of things. See you soon.